Yes, of course, we have.
So what would you like? Since I, would you like to pick the next topic? Since I've been kind of picking it for a
Um,
while.
well, we don't have too much more to cover, but let's get into our new media discussion here.
All right. Will you start
Okay,
it off?
so over the summer we've had a couple um, new things in terms of media, whether it be games or films or um, others, and we're going to briefly talk about um, kind of the things that we remember from the summer that kind of, I guess you could say, made an impact or were notable to us.
Okay. So we'll start with movies, summer
Uh
movies
huh.
we see. So anything you saw from May 1st till the end of August.
I think I've only seen one film during the course of the summer, uh, and that
Uh huh.
was Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you want to, because I know we both seen that, so if you want to talk about that,
Well, but yeah. So before we
yeah,
get into that, I had a long list of movies that I saw over the summer because due to my circumstances, I had the opportunity to see a
right.
lot of movies. So it's let's. I saw. I might actually. Maybe I might have to actually pull up a list of movies or something that came out this year because
Okay,
there was
I
a lot.
actually have another one that I can talk about while you
Well,
think about it. So, while you pull up a list or whatever, I'll talk about one that I saw, and it was didn't necessarily come out during the summer, but I saw it during the summer. It was trying to think of the name. What the hell is it called? With Franco and Seth Rogen, and
oh, the end.
this is the end.
This is the
There you
end.
go. This is the end. That movie was so funny. I love Franco.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it is definitely a good movie. I all right. Well, it was. I mean, the first time I watched it, uh, I kind of sort of was. I wasn't. I mean, I liked it better the second time around because I don't know. There was just some. I don't know. For some reason, the first time around watching it, I was kind of put off a bit. But it was second watching it a second time was. I don't know. I got a chance to get all the BS out of the way. Watched, enjoyed it
Okay.
more. Now I found, thankfully, Wikipedia has a list of the movies in order from January till, onward of the movies that came out so
Right.
far this year. Now, I'm only going to talk about the summer movies because I did see a decent amount throughout the year. I'm actually going to start with April because a lot came out in April too. Um, especially first and foremost, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I also saw just because I was out. I saw Rio 2 just because I was going to the movies and I just didn't feel like seeing Captain America, even though it was good for the third time. So I just saw it. I also saw the Amazing Spider-Man
Uh huh. Saw that
2,
one.
which I know people are gonna, a lot of people had mixed feelings
Uh huh.
about that. There was let's see, we also had a Haunted House 2, which was hilarious. Godzilla, which was great. X-Men: Days of Future
Of
Past was
course.
amazing. Uh, a million ways to die in the West. It was funny, but I expected more from Seth. I saw 22 Jump Street. Easily, it was insanely funny. Um, Transformers: Age of Extinction was good. Sort of, I mean, especially since it's set pretty much. I mean, the thing that made the two things, in my opinion, that didn't make it a complete disaster. Or sorry, three things. One, the Dinobots. Two, God, I can't believe that. I don't know what it is with me today, but I keep forgetting people's names. There you go. John Goodman playing an old war, like army veteran type war, like old war veteran type Autobot who smoked, and I quote, smoked a bullet like a cigar. And the third thing is easily a setup for the next one, which is most like, or at least for the whole trilogy, because apparently Age of Extinction is going to start a whole new trilogy of Transformers movies by Michael Bay, easily setting up storyline for the Unicron. Let's see, what else? What else did I see? I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the Fluffy movie, which was a stand-up comedy special released in theaters by the comedian Gabriel Iglesias, my favorite stand-up comedian. I also saw Lucy, which was kind of confusing because it was good but not good. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which was subpar at best.
Right.
Had a lot of issues, and I just want to make sure that I mention. Let's see, is there anything else that I saw? No, I think that's about it.
Did you see Maleficent?
So, no, I did not see Maleficent. People said it was. You did. That's a summer movie. Why didn't you mention that?
I'm looking at the list now. I saw Maleficent. I thought that was good, actually.
But some of the other movies that I saw that came out this year was I saw The Nut Job, which actually I saw because it's on Netflix now. It came out in January. I also saw the Lego Movie and the reboot of RoboCop, which I personally liked, but there's also was that it? Was that it? I wanted. Let's see. What was the only other movie? There were some other movies. The other movies that I wanted to see but didn't get a chance to see was Chef, the Jon Favreau film. Oh, I forgot. Another movie I saw was Neighbors. Probably the funniest movie of the year. Let's see. Another movie I wanted to see that I didn't get to see was. I kind of sort of wanted to see the How to Train Your Dragon 2 because I saw the first one and I liked it, so I would have been interested to see it. But I can wait for that. I can wait for it comes out on DVD. Same with Adam Sandler's latest romantic comedy with Drew Barrymore, Blended. I'll probably see that when it comes out on DVD. We also have the two that came out also recently was Expendables 3. I want to see, but I didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance to, as well with the Let's Be Cops. I wanted to see both these films, but they kind of sort of came out the week before I went on vacation, and now I'm kind of financially, drained from vacation, so unfortunately, I gotta take a break from from going to the movies. But let's see, is there any? But which is and they're probably the last ones I'm probably gonna see for a while. Because I don't know. Let's see. What is it? I don't think there's really much else that I want to see this year. I might want to see that. I'm semi interested in that sort of horror thriller comedy that Daniel Radcliffe is doing with Four Horns.
Okay.
Um, I and I is there anything else here they may want to see?
Oh, I'll tell you what I
I
want to
don't know.
see.
I might want to see that big. I might want to go see that Big Hero 6
Mm.
and Horrible Bosses 2. Maybe Penguins of Madagascar spinoff because I loved the Penguins of
I'll
Madagascar.
tell
They
you
were
what I
funny.
want to see.
They made,
That, but most of them are in the last quarter. Um,
oh, the Third Night of the
yes, I
Museum
want to see that.
movie.
Um, that's I think that's going to be the last movie with Robin Williams in it.
No, no, it's stuff coming out next
Oh,
year.
is it?
I think that. Yeah. Here, hold on. Let me list specifically the movies that he still has coming out. Let's see here.
I'm definitely gonna see Hunger Games Mockingjay Part One. That I'll see. Uh, Obviously I'm gonna see The Hobbit, The Last Hobbit. Oh my gosh, can't wait for that. That to me is the biggest thing I've been waiting for all year is The Hobbit.
I wasn't really a big. I mean, I read the Hobbit book and it was I loved it, but I wasn't really interested in the movies, especially since they took one good book and turned it into three movies with a lot, which opened it up for a lot of
Yeah,
filler.
but I don't think any of the filler has been particularly
All right, so
bad.
here's the movies he still has left to come out this year. Is Merry Friggin' Christmas and Night at the Museum 3, and then something coming out in. I'm guessing this has as an animated movie because it says a voice for Dennis the dog in something called Absolutely Anything in
Okay,
2015. So as of this moment, he still has three movies that are going to be coming out post end of his
posthumous.
life. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's Hot Tub Time Machine 2. What? I'll see it.
I'm kind of sort of interested, but I don't know if I would. I'm actually going to pay to see it.
I won't.
I don't know. Somewhat interesting. Of course, Wikipedia's 2004 in film lists Naruto the last, so I guess we can count that if you want to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to. But it's not going to be on. But I think as that, I think that's pretty much it in terms of stuff I
Uh-huh.
want to see. So for the upcoming year.
Yeah, true.
But let's briefly talk about the one movie we both saw in common over the summer, and that's Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
what a great movie.
Honestly, first of all, yes, going into this, Marvel Studios was taking a big risk because Guardians wasn't known. Pretty much, in terms of the mainstay public, virtually unknown, basically unknown characters. And to put it simply, they took a risk and shat out gold.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
I also really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought I had my problems with it, but I thought
Oh,
they didn't diminish a lot from they didn't really diminish
they
much from
didn't.
the whole movie as a whole.
It didn't diminish. It didn't. The issues with the film didn't overshadow what made the movie
Right.
the good parts. So in turn, as a result, this made the movie very good. I liked the action. I was laughing every almost almost the entire
Pretty
movie. I was
much.
laughing. You know, I think some of my highlights, some of my scenes. I think honestly, if I had to pick a couple of scenes out that were just really funny, was one first the scene after the flashback of after we he gets abducted and we skip to the present and he's freaking like puts on the headphones and starts listening to music and he's just like dancing around and like kicking the random
Yeah.
small creatures as he walks to this thing. Um, let's see what else. Another really funny scene was the part where you find where Rocket was like you seriously took this guy's leg? I didn't even really need it. It was a joke.
That was great.
Um, and another funny scene was at the end when Groot was dancing in his little
Uh huh.
pot there. But honestly, first of all, the two funniest well, they were all funny, but by far the funniest, like it's by a little, is definitely Drax. Groot was the second most funniest, but Drax was by far the funniest, at least in my
I love
opinion.
Drax.
Like almost virtually everything that came out of his
I
mouth was
like
funny.
Drax because I thought his like literal comedy was pretty hilarious. It reminded me of the old.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch the Amanda Show? They used to have
yeah,
a bit on that where the family was the
the
literal
literal.
the family bit where they took everything literally, and that was Drax. I actually thought Rocket was the funniest in general.
Rocky, yeah, they were all. That's the thing is
They
they
were
were
all
all
funny.
funny, but I mean, to simply point my reason as to why Drax is the funniest is this: nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too quick. I will catch it. That line for me makes, at least in my opinion, makes Drax the funniest. Like, who says that stuff? I've never heard anybody think of something like
Yeah,
that
that was great.
ever. But I mean, there isn't. All the characters are funny. Like, even Gamora has a funny moment, like where like she asks Star Lord, "Who put those sticks
Uh
up their
huh.
butts?" Or if Groot is, they're all funny. Like Groot is like when he's like drinking from the water fountain, and he's like, "Oh," Rocket's like, "No, don't drink from the water fountain," and then Rocket translates for us and saying, "Oh." Groot's basically saying, "Oh well, I'm not drinking from the water fountain." And he's like, I did. Yes, you did. I just saw you." And then he goes, and then as soon as Rocket turns his head, he goes
Uh
back to drinking.
huh.
Or the part where Rocket's explaining the plan on all the while Groot's taking out the power source that's going to cause everything to go into
Uh huh.
lockdown, and all the guards to notice that they're trying to escape. And he's just like, "I got it for you." Not even realizing what he was doing.
Yeah, I think part of the delivery of Groot's comedy was the fact that he did all this ridiculous shit and then just the response, "I am Groot," just delivered it.
Well, see, I don't know if you saw this interview, but there was an interview with Vin Diesel saying that that they did something special with the script. Now, obviously, being "I am Groot" is his only words that he says, except for the one part where he says
Right.
"We are Groot." It basically there isn't really much of a need for a script, except what they did to differentiate it, to actually create a script. And that, in my mind, is what made the difference. Because what it did was first, like anything else, it showed you the lines that you are responding "I am Groot" to.
Hmm.
It also lays down the situation, but most importantly, next to "I am Groot," the writers or director, I forget who put it there, wrote basically if Groot was going to say, like, had a full vocabulary, and this is what he would say, but you have to convey the feelings of that in
Right.
"I am Groot," and that plus Vin Diesel's dedication made it
Yeah.
amazing. Like Marvel has done it again and made a great cast for their movie. Because I was worried about Batista playing Drax because I watched him as a wrestler, and it wasn't very well liked, and I wasn't convinced of his acting capabilities, but now that I know the kind of character that Drax is, and after seeing his performance, it makes all the more sense as to why they picked him. It just works. Batista's personality as a person works perfectly for Drax. Just like when they Robert Downey Jr.'s personality works perfectly for playing
Of
Tony
course.
Stark slash Iron
Yeah,
Man.
and for any Walking Dead fans out there, the person who was cast as Yondu was a person who played Merle in Walking Dead, and I felt like they were
Yeah, I
basically
remember.
the same character,
Yeah,
except one is in a sci-fi Marvel film and the other is in a zombie apocalypse.
which is I guess you could say should be is a sci-fi, you know,
It is.
show.
It's a sci-fi film, but also the fantasy of Marvel is also incorporated.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like the Walking Dead is that's a science
Uh,
fiction show.
less of one, much less of one.
Eh, But yeah, everyone was perfect. I would say, in my opinion, perfectly cast. I mean, and I honestly, one of the other highlights of this movie, at least was the debut of Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah, they showed his appearance for the first time. Full.
And
Yeah.
the voice, of course.
That was interesting.
Uh huh.
Now, as for issues, just briefly, I thought like the narrative, like in the first opening, like 20 minutes, it was a bit choppy. Like
Yeah, the flashback was kind
it's
of
not just the flashback; it
like.
was the whole story,
Well, I
like the
mean,
whole narrative, like the scene, like the cuts, the story progression. It was all kind of pretty choppy in the beginning. It started to smooth out in like after first 20 30 minutes. Um, but it was never until like the end. It was never truly like all the way smooth. As for my second main issue,
yeah.
well, two issues with the characters. One, I thought Gamora was, even though she was funny, I thought she was the weakest because I think she was a little too typical. And second, where's Nova? Where's Nova? Richard Rider.
Yeah.
And Richard Rider is great.
Of course, there was that whole yeah. Of course, I know a lot of the fans were disappointed because they were sort of faked out because they were promised a cameo by the Nathan Fillion, and they got it, but not in the way they were
Right.
hoping for. Because everyone was hoping he was going to cameo as his character from Firefly, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
I think so.
What? But instead, he was all costumed and CGI'd up as a random, inmate, alien inmate that you wouldn't notice unless you
Uh
knew that
huh.
it was him. And the particular one in reference is the blue alien that Groot stuck his roots up his nose. That was
Right.
Nathan Fillion. So, and of course I was disappointed that the end credit scene didn't add anything. It was just a cheap way to add a reference,
Yeah, I don't. I'm neutral.
which is I would have to say hypocritical coming from me. But
We'll get to that later, people.
yes. But anyway, so overall, it was
Great
a
movie.
great movie.
Agreed.
Let's see. What were any anime you've seen? You've started up recent in the past couple months
Oh
that's worth noting.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's me. Um. So over the past couple months, I've seen. I caught up with Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter, however you pronounce it. I say Hunter x Hunter. I caught up with that. I love it. I read it weekly. I watch the episodes weekly. Um, the Sword Art Online, the first one I watched. I've watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 2012, and I'm currently watching Stardust Crusaders, as you guys know by now. Let's see what else. I started in terms of manga, I started up Masamune Kun no Revenge, which is a monthly. Obviously, Ice Trail and Fairy Tail Zero.
Well, speaking of which, did you read the
Yes,
latest
yes,
uh, with that?
yeah. I did read those two, and I've been reading Akame ga Kiru over the summer. I'm caught up with that. Watched the anime weekly. I rewatched Death Note, which I never completely finished, and I did that over the summer. I watched Fate Zero, and I think that about covers anime and manga for the summer at least.
Well, I didn't this year. I didn't so far this year. I haven't really. There's only I only wa- I've only I haven't really. I only really watched one new series in terms of anime, and that was Hitman Reborn.
Hitman Reborn.
I tried to catch up with the manga, but then life happened, and I'm still trying to get back to to it so I can finish it because I have to, and I also have still yet to continue reading Bleach. But some other stuff that I watched this year, you know, that in terms of non like the only other cartoon new like I watched other interesting things saw this year in terms of TV shows I got a chance to see book 3 of Legend of Korra, which was I guess I'd have to say overall an improvement on the previous two books. And in terms of live action, I would have to say the newest one I saw was Marvel's Agents of Shield, which I liked a lot. Currently, uh, like, but for the rest of the part in terms of anime, I've been kind of sort of rewatching stuff. Like recently, I rewatched a particular part in a set of arcs in One Piece stemming from the Shabby Archipelago, the point where they get to the red line, the halfway point, the Grand Line, up to at the end of the Fishman Island arc.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to say this, but currently I am in a Power Rangers
Okay.
mood. Yes, I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's you know I Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was an amazing show, and a lot of the other earlier Power Ranger series were really good. And I don't know, I guess it just they might not necessarily be the current ones. The other ones might not necessarily be as good, but it's working off that same original formula. However
Uh huh.
basic it is that made Mighty Morphin good. The bad guys, the power, this is, and I was kind of like last year I was on a Power Rangers mood, and basically my goal was to try and watch every series, so at least I say I've seen it once and can give my truest opinion. So, and I just finished just today. I finished one of the series. Tomorrow, probably either later tonight after this or tomorrow, I can start the next one in the list. I think the one I just finished came out in 2006, and you know. But one of the things that I notice things by watching them all is they kind of sort of took the idea or the character personalities from the original five Rangers and kind of took that, you know, and kind of almost tried to make that like the standard. Like, for instance, the Red Ranger always seems to be that, is obviously always the leader, but they always seem to be that character who's acts tough, but always seems to not like have issues with knowing how to be a leader, a proper
Uh
leader.
huh.
The Blue Ranger is always second in command, except for a couple of the series where the Blue Ranger is a girl, which is at this point two series had the female Blue Ranger. But anyway, the Blue Ranger is a, like I said, it's the more like it's usually this like considered the second in command, is like more on the side of the intelligent type, maybe not necessarily as nerdy or as the original one was, really, but you know, as for the third male ranger, and the reason why I refer to that is because usually the third male the ranger color hasn't been consistent. It's usually either black or green. They're usually that character is usually reserved as being like the goofy guy type. You know, in all their various ways. Now, as for the female rangers, there are two types. The Yellow Ranger, who is the kind of like wild child, and the Pink Ranger, which is kind of like the, pretty femme fatale type, who's like, oh, I might be pretty, but I can fight. So that's kind of the thing I've noticed. But of course, the one thing that has always remained consistent is that the best Power Ranger of all time is Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver, played by Jason David Frank, the best Power Ranger of all time. Who, after leaving in Turbo, came back for another series called Dino Thunder, and next year, and is coming back for a cameo appearance in the current season, which is known as Super Mega Force, because they're having this whole big battle where all the Rangers that ever existed up to this point fight all at once. Because they were only and he's going to make a cameo appearance. I mean, most of them are just going to be random people in costumes, but but they were able to get a handful of actors back to, so you can actually see some physical faces of, the previous Rangers. But obviously the most notable face is going to be Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, and he's going to be donning his best outfit, the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin. And subsequently, he's going to return next year to be yet again be a mentor, like he was in the Dino Thunder, in the series called Dino Charge, because apparently he likes dinosaurs. He did with Mighty Morphin, and now he's doing it again because he's by far the most popular character, easily. But anyway, so that's pretty much what I've been watching recently. In terms of gaming stuff I've done, let's see, this year, towards the beginning of the year, I got the One Piece, what was it? It was the One Piece release, or the American release of One Piece Romance Dawn, which was basically covered the first half of One Piece in like a sort of almost like Final Fantasy. It felt like almost like a Final Fantasy style RPG.
Gotcha.
Or sorta, because the same kind of similar battle style in terms of the way they fight. Because like how you'd see in the screen, the order they would show, they'd have pictures of the characters and the order of fighting, and then sometimes the character's face might be 2 times in a row, but also how you earn points or money or each character earns skill points that you can use that you build up, save up, and use to upgrade your special attacks. And I very much enjoyed it. Let's see what else I played. I played for the PlayStation 3. I played this year's DBZ game, Battle of Z, which it was different than the traditional DBZ fighting games, but it wasn't different enough because it's still retelling the same story.
Right.
It had a bunch of side missions. It had the main story, and then it had a bunch of side missions that varied. Like some of the side missions had you being facing off against our hero Z fighters at their various points in time. There's also like special like side missions where you were facing off like about like a bunch of Cybermen that just kept spawning, or and a couple of like random Frieza soldiers that kept spawning. But they also covered the movies. Now I beat the main story, which basically means I defeated Kid Buu, and I took care of the beating Broly, two Broly missions, which were insanely difficult, as well as the insanely difficult Meta Cooler giant boss battle. But the missions that they had after that were at the highest difficulty, and I never was able to get past. So I never got to the point of the game where I presume I would unlock the God mode versus Beerus battle.
Right.
But unfortunately, also this year, the PS3's hard drive had to got messed up, so we had to reboot it, and it kind of sort of deleted all the data. So, but thankfully, I mean, I got virtually back to that point, except minus the Broly fights and the medical fight, because they're super difficult. Also, I started playing. Well, I finished, but in January, I was finishing up my final playthrough of the Pokemon 6th Gen games, because I got Pokemon Y, because whenever a new generation of game comes out, or anything like the reboots or anything, I always pick the one where the legendary I want more. Like when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, I picked Heart Gold because I wanted Ho-Ho more than I wanted Lugia. In this one, I wanted the Y legendary more than I wanted the X legendary.
Okay.
But in purposes of making sure I got all the Mega Stones and got both legendaries, I also got X, but I played through it twice. After I beat X, got everything I wanted from X, I transferred over the Pokemon and items over to Y, and then restarted X because I wanted to get make sure I got all 3 starter Pokemon. Because I like doing that. So I finished that. The second playthrough of X finished around January. Let's see what else I played. I started playing another North American release of One Piece Unlimited World Red for the 3DS. I started to play it after I was finishing up replaying Digimon World Dawn, which is a game, which was it was alright game. And then I am what's shaping up, but at the current moment I'm not necessarily playing anything, but also the other game I played this year was Naruto, the last Naruto game that came out. I forget what it's called.
Storm 3, probably.
Yes, but I got the full burst version.
Oh, yeah. With
the extra costumes and the, I think, the Kabuto Sage Mode character.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I unlocked all. I unlocked all the characters and I beat the story mode. It was good. It was a pretty good. I liked the game, and as you know, Strider, the whole reason why I got into that game was because I played it at the Zenkai-Con.
Yeah, and we also got a chance to get our hands on J-Stars, the imported version, which was
I would have liked. But of course, I would have liked to play it more. But unfortunately, there was always a line of people, and we were doing other things. What I would have liked, hopefully, unfortunately, Zenkai-Con was too early to have the pre-release versions of Super Smash Brothers, because I've seen a lot of footage come out from various gaming channels of them going to various conventions that have the demo versions.
Right.
But which brings me up the point of the upcoming games that I'm going to be playing. I reserved a copy of the new Naruto game that's coming out this month. And so I'm going to be playing that. I also reserved Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS. and I'm excited to can't wait to play it. I'm starting to like when it was first announced with the re-release, or should I say the Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I wasn't really too interested in it, but I'm starting to like the idea of it of playing it. So at this point, I'm still at maybe. And the only other game that in the foreseeable that's coming out within the next year that I'm interested in playing is the Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse because it's shaping up to be the best one yet. But that's that's still to be seen. So what about you on the gaming front this year?
Well, not to go back to televisions real briefly, but I've been watching Game of Thrones, which is currently in production for season 5, and that's. I mean, I won't talk too much about that because there's a big disparity there.
You just really I know you got into it this year and really liked it.
I
If I'm not
I
mistaken.
do
What was
I
that?
do like it a lot, but that's enough of that. I just wanted to briefly go back to that. In terms of games, I've played a shit ton of games this year because that's my my second thing besides anime is games is but in terms of what I'm playing currently, uh, I recently replayed the Uncharted trilogy for PS3, and I love those games. I've platinumed all 3 of them. Um, Currently, I'm playing Street Fighter 4 or Super Street Fighter 4, like literally the 2010 version of Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 rather. I don't have Arcade
Well,
Edition.
yeah, it was.
Don't have Ultra.
I heard it was. What was it, a good game. I also what was it over. One of the other things I was playing over vacation besides Battle of Z was I was I was playing my brother's Street Fighter X Tekken game.
Oh
So
yeah,
that was fun.
Cross Tekken. Yeah. Well, Super Street Fighter 4, I think, is a really solid game. It's so I wouldn't I would say it's more balanced than most fighting games, and the mechanics are really solid. You just have to. It's difficult. It has a difficult learning curve, I'll say. Other than that, like I've been recently playing more Dark Souls as I've been playing for a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know you had a lot of fun with Demon. Was it Demons you played through with Dark Souls and Demon Souls, right? If I'm not mistaken, with B.
With Armor Zero X or AZX, we'll call him for now. Yes, I we played through both of them. Um,
Yeah, because
I platinum both of those games.
he showcased it to me, and it looked interesting. It was funny. Of course, the funny. Oh, I guess you could also sort of say that I've been keeping up with the. If you want to, I guess if you sort of count this as anime, as the DBZ abridged. Especially since this year they made an upgraded site,
Yeah, I
and
I've
a
been keeping
lot.
up with
It's
that, of course.
definitely you should anybody who likes Dragon Ball Z should definitely check out their site and bookmark it because they had not just abridging the episodes as far, not only are they great at abridging the episodes, but all the side series involving the game, all the gaming they do with their characters. Krillin and his playing through all the various horror survival games because he's the coward, and the two Saiyans play with Nappa and Vegeta, and then the rogue or the rogue series with Vegeta. It's all good and definitely is worth watching if you're a fan of both DBZ and of anything funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I would also recommend TFS Team 4 Star. But other than that, I've been playing Civilization Revolution for PS3.
Uh-huh.
Interesting game. I've been playing that game for a couple years now, just on and off. It's a good game. You gist of it is you build your own society, or not? Yeah, you build your own country essentially, and you have to win by either domination, scientific, economic, or cultural victories. It's all pretty interesting. And as far as games I want to play, I'm broke as shit, so I'm not gonna be buying many games. But
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that reminds me. Another game I played this year because I got it for Christmas and it was the latest in the Fire Emblem series, Fire Emblem Awakening. It
oh
was
boy,
it was great. I liked it. The only issue I had was how incredibly broken your characters become by the end of the game. I mean, and the other game I I I should say continued playing is the sort of, kind of, I'm kind of in like a low point in playing this right now, is the MMO known as the One Piece online game, that Hockey Pirates.
Pocky Pirates. Okay,
You know, I'm right now. Currently in a lull, like lull sort of playing. Maybe playing it every once in a while
gotcha.
because that usually happens because I get to a certain point, and, where I need to I've hit a wall in terms of how strong I can be, and then after playing lazily for a while, I'll probably break through that wall and start getting stronger really quickly for a while, and then I'll probably get back into playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, another game you might actually see me stream is a game called Osu. It's a music game, and I won't go too much into detail.
as well speaking of gaming, I don't know. Like, have you been keeping up with the Super Smash Brothers character reveals?
Yeah, yeah, I have
So
been.
you saw Shulk
Yeah, I saw Shulk. Yeah,
from the from the what was it?
Xenoblade is where he's from.
Is that like isn't that's the same series as the one you were streaming one of the earlier games in the series, weren't you?
Xenogears. Yeah,
Oh, Xenogears, not Xenoblade.
Xenogears and Xenoblade are all part of like a Xenosaga, is what they call it. It's different universe, but it's by the same company. Well, it's all by Square, but it's by the same like division inside of Square Enix, Squeenix.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's from Xenoblade, which is an obscure but I think pretty dedicated fan base to like the Wii fans
Yeah.
who liked it.
Yeah. Well, he looks interesting.
Yeah,
I just, of course, I know the biggest reveal for you this year that you liked was the return of Ike in
Return
his,
of the King.
especially since now he's gonna have his look from Fire Emblem 10.
Now, some of you guys don't understand when I say the Return of the King because you guys don't know. You guys just don't know.
He was not a king. He's the only main character in the entire Fire Emblem series of main characters that isn't royalty.
But he was amazing, and not just that. He just felt right when I played him. When I played Ike, he just felt right to me, and he's
Well, I can't wait to play as Robin,
Robin looks nice.
the avatar character that you create in, you know, Awakening, because of that incredible balance of magic and swordsmanship. Some other characters I'm looking forward to playing as, well, I can't, Ike I liked, so I played as him a lot. Um, I also can't wait to play as Charizard solely because he was awesome.
Yeah,
Um, I played as Lucario a decent amount, so it was nice to see how he works differently now that they incorporated his Mega Evolution in as a part of it. I think as part of his Final Smash.
hmm
There's also what was it? Mega Man. Definitely going to be interesting to play as him,
uh huh. Now,
as Greninja, because I mean, honestly, he's basically a ninja. They play him as a ninja.
Now
which you should be able to appreciate, Strider.
this time around, this time around, you guys are gonna have a handicap because I'm not gonna have a 3DS for a little while. So you guys are gonna have a handicap. Now we'll see how
Yeah,
far.
but AZX doesn't have. That's not on his top priority list to get that for the 3DS.
No, but what you guys will have a head start. But once I get 3DS and I
Once
get
you
that
get a
game,
3DS and get the game, you're gonna just destroy us all.
we'll see. We'll see. You guys might end up being better again with that system. But
For now, for a certain. Well, there's also the times where uh because because AZX's brother has a Wii U, and he says that maybe they'll get the Wii U version so that like, when we go over to his house and we'll play using the GameCube controllers because you can use you'll be able to use the GameCube controllers to
right.
play it on the Wii U. So that's pretty much the same control. So if we do something like that, if you come over and we're playing the Wii U version with the GameCube controllers, you'll just destroy us all because it's basically the same controls. It's the same controls.
As long as I understand the mechanics of the game,
Well, I mean,
be good.
the only major mechanics they change in terms of the game mechanics is they took away the tripping mechanic.
Which is great.
In terms of the character, I don't know if they've, other than his design, I don't know if they've changed Ike too much. But it's not like you were always playing Ike when we played Brawl either.
No, I make it a point to play just about everybody. I see. I've been playing Smash since 64
Getting
first came out, and every time like each new game would come out, I usually spend a couple of years just learning the mechanics and just getting as good as possible. But
playing as
that's the
that
thing.
character.
I have a pretty good fighting game background, whereas like the other three of you guys don't have as, I guess I would say, as solid of a 2D fighter background as because I put so many hours into those games. You gotta So it's not like I have like this natural talent for. I literally put in like 300 hours
And I
into
don't,
Brawl.
I don't doubt you. I'm just saying is that you dwarf us.
You said it, not me.
Well, alright. Or should I say, if you were to fight me or Jay,
Link's
I don't know,
Link. We'll call him Link.
Link,
Yeah.
in a one-on-one fight, you'd murk us. Whereas if you played AZX, it would be a pretty decent fight, but you still beat him. Especially when it's you as Ike and him playing as the only character he plays because it's his best, Marth, and the way you play Ike, you make Ike faster than Marth.
I try. I do try.
Which, speaking of speed, that kind of reminds me of a point that they made in the One Piece special about how, with observation hockey, with the whole thing about its concept of it being able to, like, perceive people and, like, almost sort of see a little bit, like, try to help you predict their movements, it is said that you can use observation hockey to see the speed of light. And it was confirmed in the special that Ray League used observation hockey to predict the movement of Kizaru's light speed kick in order to stop it.
Right.
And that's the only reason why he was able to stop it in time, even though it was traveling at the speed of light, was because he used observation hockey to predict it.
Right. So anyway, I guess that's about it. I guess are we done with the medias then?
Yeah.